All right, YouTube. I don't know if you can hear me or not, or if I'm too loud. If I am, actually, I can turn the volume down right here. I did not know that. So, today I'm going to record my podcast live for you right here. Sorry, let me check. This lighting kind of stinks, but I'll just take my glasses off. How about that? I can't figure out a way to do the lighting without having the glare on my glasses, and I have like two different light sources, but if I have one on, nothing works great. If I have one off, I don't know. So I am live right now. I'm going to get into my software where I record my podcast real quick. Hold on just 1 second. If I'm looking off, it's because I am. Hold on, let me see if I move this real quick. That way it doesn't look like that all the time. All right, let me get this going. But I have a chat open, so in case if anybody is watching me on YouTube, you can chat with me, say hi. This is taking a moment, so actually, I'm sorry to do this live and on a YouTube video, but hold on 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Kind of, sort of, in a way. I gotta get something that's on the floor. Okay. Let me see if I can feel for it. Sorry if I'm all up in your face. Boom. Got it. Okay. Because I need to... Oh, there we go. I need to be able to hear myself. And I can't hear myself. I can't... It's just crazy. I am sorry if you can hear my heat kicking on. Let's see. Actually, I like the position. How did I have that? There we go. I gotta be able to see Baby Yoda back there. It's not a podcast without Baby Yoda in the background. Alright. Alright. Let's do this. I'm about to start my podcast in 3. Oh, wait. No, not yet. I'll count down in a minute. This is the only thing I don't like recording I don't know, doing it live is it's difficult. It's hard just because I'm getting things going and doing stuff and things and all that fun stuff. But I need more video content on YouTube. And I don't really have the time to create a video, put everything together, and do and just do all the stuff and things. It's hard. So, here I go. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. Hello, my fellow nerds. I am... Hold on 1 second. Okay, there we go. I needed to... Oh, wait. Never mind. We're going to start over. I didn't realize I had this setting on my GarageBand that I used last time to record a video, to record my podcast. I didn't like it because it just kept going like up and down, up and down, up and down, and it just... Okay, yeah, I did shut it off. Okay, let's do this again. Let's start over, shall we? I feel like it's too loud. My levels are kind of... There we go. That's better. It's a little crazy. I'm naturally a loud person, so doing podcasts are kind of hard. So, here we go. Hello, my fellow nerds. This is the Nerd in Texas podcast, and I am your hostess, Chanel. Why are my levels so crazy? Stop. Stop. I'm going to redo it again. This is exactly how doing my podcast is. Bailey usually makes fun of me. She's usually here laughing at me, making fun of me, and is like, oh, I think I know what the problem is. I have the volume turned like all the way up on my mic. Hello? Hello, you fellow nerds. Maybe that sounds better. I'm not 100% sure. Let me see. Okay. It's also hard to tell if it's loud because, like I said, I have to listen to myself. None of my equipment's working, so whatever. I tried. I tried. It just falls. Okay. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Hello, my fellow nerds. I don't have an intro, so I'm just going to tell you. This is the Nerd in Texas podcast. My name is Chanel. I am your hostess. Your hostess with the mostess. And I say hostess this time because Kevin was like, hey, you're not a host, you're a hostess. So, there we go. I got that correction. This podcast is about movies, TV shows, books, and anything that you might consider nerdy. Sometimes I do video games, sometimes I don't. So it really just depends on what I'm in the mood for. Today is Wednesday. For the month of February, I did like a Star Wars Wednesday, but February is over and I ran out of Star Wars things to talk about until things come out on Disney Plus. What else? Oh, okay. So I kind of have two parts to this podcast. I'm going to talk about something that I recently watched on Netflix that someone reached out to me and said, hey, I want you to talk about this show. And so I watched it and I'm going to talk about it. It was Behind Her Eyes on Netflix. And then I'm going to talk about, whatchamacallit? Oh, some questions that okay, let me rephrase that. A question that I was asked, and I kind of was asked repeatedly this question from men. So, I'm going to answer that and talk, because I'm not really going to talk about Behind Her Eyes that much. I'm going to kind of deep dive more. And a lot of people said, well, we want to hear more about you. We want to hear more about what's going on in your life. What's going on. So I've decided to do about half this, the rest of the, talk about Behind Her Eyes on Netflix and then talk about that stuff. So here we go. I watched, I'm sorry. I'm apologizing for saying I'm sorry. I was told not to say you're sorry because I guess I say I'm sorry too much. And I was told to be more mindful of the mic, but I don't have that big of a desk. I don't even have a desk. It's a fold up plastic table. And so doesn't have that much room. I'm going to pull up my notes here really quick. Where did it go? Okay. I am going to bring it back up. I don't like to type things while I'm doing a podcast because I don't like you guys having to hear the tick, 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 tick. But somehow my notes got taken down. So, here we go. Here we go. All right, so according to IMDb, because everybody knows I'm a huge IMDb fan, Behind Her Eyes is a show where it follows a single mom, her name is Louise, with a son and a part-time job in a psychiatrist's office. She begins an affair with her boss and then becomes friends with the wife. But the thing is that's not what the show is about. All about, at least. First, I'm going to let you know right now, I am going to give you spoilers. I'm going to talk about what happened at the end. I know all over Facebook people are losing their minds about what happened at the end. And they're like, what? Oh my gosh. The ending was insane. Another thing I'm going to tell you, this show's rated R. Don't watch it with kids. A lot of adult scenes. Yeah, a lot of adult scenes. That's what I call 50 Shades of Grey adult scenes, but adultier than 50 Shades of Grey. But anyways, so it follows Louise, and she starts to have an affair with her boss, who is a psychiatrist, but at first it was an accident. At first she meets him at a bar, and like I said, I'm going to be telling spoilers, and the reason why I'm going to be telling spoilers is because I personally did not like the show. It was so slow. I think there was 5 or 6 episodes, and it could have gone, it's a show that could have made it in 3, maybe 4. it took me a few nights, like a few days. It took me, I don't know, it took me a while to watch it because I kept like shutting it off because I was getting bored. And then I'd watch something else and then I'd go back to it. And it was hard for me to watch. It wasn't anything where I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. I'm going to continue to watch it over and over again. Or at least not over and over again, but nonstop. It wasn't I'm going to watch this, I'm going to binge this nonstop type of show. So Luis meets this dude at a bar. They hit it off. They like kiss while they're leaving. And then he was like, I'm sorry, I can't do this. And then she goes to her job like the next day and she's like, oh, so is the new boss in the office? Is the new psychiatrist in the office? And it ends up being that guy from the bar. And they're both like, what are you doing here? Why are you here? Like, bleh. They're both like freaking out. So they come to terms like, I won't talk about it if you don't talk about it. But of course, they end up like having an affair and falling madly in love and all kinds of crazy stuff. And you discover that his wife, Adele, is, lack of a better term, batshit crazy. Like, she is just off the rails crazy, obsessive, stalkerish, all kinds of crazy things. So, excuse me. This is going to be short, this about this show. Because if you are a fan of any kind of sci-fi, any kind of fantasy, any kind of anything, you start to figure out what is going on and what's going to happen. And that's exactly what I did. I was like, oh, I know what's happening here. I know what's going on here. If you are not a fan of sci-fi and you are not a fan of fantasy or anything like that, that is why it was a huge shock to you. That was why it was a huge shock to some people who watched it and were like, oh my gosh, this ending is insane. Anyway, let me get back to the show and then I'll tell you what happened. So, Adele goes to a rehab. And I guess it was for drug use. I'm not exactly sure. Where she meets this guy. And his name's Rob, and they end up becoming best friends. So she was actually just engaged to the psychiatrist. I forget his name. See, that's how, like, unmemorable this whole story for me was. But she is engaged to him at the time that she's in rehab, and she meets Rob, and she tells Rob, like, I have this weird thing that I can do, check it out, watch. And she used to have night terrors. Okay, so she used to have night terrors. She figured out a way around them, but she also figured out how to astral project while she's sleeping. So she could be anywhere. She could fall asleep. She can go anywhere, be anywhere, as long as she's already been there before. She has to be there before. She has to visualize it. She has to know where it is. But I have a hole for that. I have a like, what? If that's the case, then how did she... Okay, I'll tell you in a minute. So, she teaches Rob, this guy in rehab, how to do that. And then she gets out of rehab. He eventually gets out of rehab and immediately gets back on drugs. Immediately gets back on doing heroin. And excuse me. He eventually meets up with her after they get out of rehab, after they all that fun stuff. And hold on a second. Anyways, so I'm sorry. It's been a rough Wednesday. I'm sorry, it's been a rough Wednesday. But as I say, it's been a rough Wednesday. Look at my cat. Let me see. I look over. Doesn't she look comfy? Doesn't she look happy? I know if you're listening to my podcast, I'll take a picture and post it on Instagram. And you can see how happy she looks. Ignore my messy room. Don't ignore Baby Yoda back there. He's got to be back there in order for it to be a podcast. Anyways. So, he kind of decides, like, all right, let's try something. Let's astral project, but let's switch bodies. So he switches bodies with Adele, and then he murders Adele while she is in his body. And then continues, what is happening? And then he continues, I really hope this isn't messing up. And then he continues to, see, this is why I don't like to do this. I don't like to do this live on YouTube or live on Twitch and podcast at the same time. So this is kind of, I'm probably going to have to edit this podcast just a tiny bit because it's all messed up and I don't really like to edit, but I'll do it anyways, just for you guys. So they switch bodies and then he kills her. Literally, like, puts her at the end of a well, kills her, okay? He then goes and lives her life, pretends to be her, and is totally crazy, totally wacko, doing drugs, all kinds of stuff. And then he finds out about Lewis and the husband, because he actually, like, falls for the husband as well. Sorry about that. Falls for the husband as well. And it's just like a whole bunch of crazy, it's a huge crazy mess. And he's just like, I don't want to go back to that. You know, like, I don't want to go back to my crappy life. I'd rather, what is happening? What is happening? This podcast is not going the way I want it to, so I'm definitely going to have to edit a lot of it. So if it sounds funny, I'm sorry. Let's get back on track. I'm sorry, I gotta breathe. I gotta center myself. It's been rough, and I'm about to explain that after I talk about this whole show. So, he lives her life as Adele. Then, he discovers Lewis, the one that they're having an affair with. They end up becoming best friends, and Adele/Rob ends up finding out that Lewis can do the same thing. She has night terrors, helps with the night terrors. Then she eventually discovers how to astral project. And she's like, whoa, you know? And then Rob is like, whoa, it's crazy. Rob/Adele is like, it's crazy that I finally met someone who can do that. Rob/Adele completely sets up Lewis to where Adele sends her text message like, I'm just gonna end it all, like, I'm just gonna whatever. And so Lewis freaks out, runs to Rob and Adele's place. Of course Rob Adele locked the place up, and Lois decides, okay, I'm gonna astral project. Why would you do, okay, first of all, this is where my sci-fi knowledge, my whatever knowledge, used to watch Charmed. You know, I loved Charmed. I loved Buffy the Vampire Slayer, stuff like that. This is where my training has kicked in. My nerd training, my overthinking, all of this has kicked in, okay? She astral projects to get to Adele/Rob to help her because she's ODing on heroin / lit the house on fire so she could die. Like, she could really make sure she's dead, okay? She astral projects to save her. When you astral project, especially in this show, you're this little ball of light and you're just like floating around, and everybody has a different color. Like, Rob is blue, Adele was like purple, this person, I forget what color this Lewis was. And so you're a ball of light. How are you going to pull her out of a fire? How are you going to do anything if you are a little ball of light floating around? This whole idea to astral project to save her was stupid. It was dumb. Then the whole thing, it was like, you have to have been there before. You have to visualize the place. You have to whatever in order to astral project. So she does that. She visualizes it. She goes in there, and lo and behold, what's his name? Rob/Adele is waiting for her to do that. And so while Lois goes in there floating around expecting to do what? I don't know. Rob goes in his little floating ball of light, goes into Lois's body and takes over Lois. So he's in Lois's body. Lois wakes up in Adele/Rob's body. He's like tripping out on heroin, so she doesn't know. She wakes up and she's like tripping on heroin and has never done heroin before, so she doesn't know what to do. She's kind of laying there and is like, I can't move. And then he like injects her with even more heroin and ODs her. And so Lois is now dead in Rob/Adele's body. Rob/Adele is now in Lois's body. And yeah, that's what happens. That's what happens at the ends that blow everybody's mind. Lois's son is the only one that's picking up on that, like, my mom is not the same. This isn't my mom. And is kind of, like, iffy about his mom. But her and the psychiatrist get married, so now it's Lois's body, but it's Rob/Adele in Lois's body. Oh, see, this whole show is a mess. But what I don't get is they made an emphasis that in order for to astral project anywhere you want to go, you have had to been there. You had to be there. You had to visualize it. You had to whatever. Adele has never been in Lois's apartment. So how can she go to Lois's apartment and spy on them doing the adult scenes if she's never been there? I feel like they didn't think this through. I feel like they didn't think about this, like, at all. And they should have. And it didn't work out. Sorry if this just went lower. I'm really working on my levels because they're all over the place. I don't understand. I don't understand how my settings got so messed up. But hopefully this is better. Hopefully it's not too loud. And it's not screaming in your ear. And all that fun stuff. And hold on, let me adjust it a tiny bit more. Okay. So yeah, that's why I didn't like that show. Too many things, too many factors that didn't make sense. And it was really slow. The whole delivery was slow. Everything was slow. And it was just like, there was episodes that like, they really didn't need. I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like when people make these things, like people make these shows, they really should talk to people who are like, sci-fi nerds or fantasy nerds or whatever, and they should call me up. They should be like, hey, Chanel, watch this. What should we fix? What should we not fix? My cat moved again. I hope you watch me on YouTube Live. Here she is. Okay, well, maybe she didn't move to you, but she moved me. And I don't know. I'm going to have to listen to this back and see what happens. I might not post this podcast. Oh, man. All right. So now to get to the rest of it about the questions that I was asked that I'm kind of not happy about. Okay, so like I said, people have told me, like, we want to hear about you. We want to hear about what's going on. We want to hear all that stuff. I've been struggling really bad lately. I suffer from depression, anxiety, body dysmorphia. Like, I have like a Molotov cocktail from things that I suffer, but normally things aren't like all at the same time. Sometimes it's like really bad. Sometimes I'm perfectly fine. I'm perfectly happy. I'm like, whatever. And so it's really just like on a base to base. Sometimes it's just, I kind of do it in terms of volume. Like sometimes it's really loud. Sometimes I can't hear it. Just these past couple of days, it's been loud. And mainly it's been anxiety. My anxiety has been through the roof. I know the weather causes my anxiety, and it's been cold and gray and just insane. So I've kind of been struggling. I've been struggling for the past couple of days. Thankfully, I have friends that like always message me and talk to me and, hey, you okay? What's going on? Oh, actually, okay. I am also a closed off person, and I don't like to talk about myself, so this is kind of why I didn't start off talking about myself until someone said something. If you were to be like, hey, Chanel, you okay? What's up? I'll be like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm great. But secretly, I'm like, not okay. I'm not great. I also use like laughter to brush off anything that might be going on. I use my sense of humor. I use all of that to like avoid all of it. So yeah, that's what's been going on. And so I've been struggling to make content. I've been struggling to, I feel like nothing's going right with everything that I try to do. And I went to go bust out all my old cosplay stuff because I want to do a cosplay. Couldn't find any of this stuff. That's fun. With body dysmorphia, I feel like I don't have the body for cosplay, so I don't want to do it. But, there is a plus side to all of this. I am going to do it. I'm going to force myself to do it, and I'm going to like it. I'm going to have fun, and I am going to put all of it on my Ko-fi page. And if you are a subscriber to my Ko-fi page, I'm going to have exclusive content about my cosplay. Hopefully, one of these days, the main goal is to do a cosplay, and I would love to do like a photo shoot, like a really cool photo shoot of me in my cosplay. I'll have photos of my cosplay on my Ko-fi page. I'm going to be more active on my Ko-fi page, because it's just, I'm like I said, I'm really struggling. On another note, I've been sprucing up my website, and I know I said that I was going to put like my store for my masks and stuff on there, but I discovered it's $10 a month for me to add a store to my website. So I just did a link to the shop on my Ko-fi page. So if you want to check out the masks that I made and that I'm selling, right now I only have like 3 of them. I have a Spider-Man, I have a Maleficent one, and one Star Wars one, but I'm in the process of making another Star Wars one where it's all stormtroopers. It actually looks really cool. I posted a picture in my Discord. I'm gonna, if you please be in my Discord, you can, it's like a chat room, when we message each other. I'm always checking on everyone in my Discord. I'm like, hey guys, what's up? If you like my podcast, which I have a feeling you're not gonna like this one because I struggled so bad, please leave me a virtual tip in my tip jar that's on my Ko-fi page. Maybe this is also what kind of triggered struggling these past couple of days, is I kind of lost the tiny sponsorship that I had with Instacart, because nobody really did it. Nobody really wanted it. And seeing as nobody signed up in the first 7 days, they were like, okay, never mind. Which I really don't think it was anything that I did. I really just think my podcast is not big enough for something like that yet, and maybe I should have pushed the brakes on it and then pushed the hold. I mean, I still have a code for it. I don't know if it works, but we'll figure it out. So I think I'm gonna put pause on trying to find sponsorships or affiliate sponsorships right now, and just stick with my Ko-fi page, stick with the virtual tip jar, stick with, I have when I start Twitch, you can stream me on Twitch and donate to me on Twitch. I also have kind of discovered about myself lately that I want to start doing things that I want to do, that I love to do. I'm always putting my kids first, and I'm always doing their softball, cheer, whatever. I'm always putting my mom and my mom's business first with Ballcat Buddy, and I want to start putting things that make me happy and give me joy first, and creating cosplay is one of those things. So yeah, I just want to do more of that, as opposed to click on my Instacart and all that fun stuff. I'm not talking bad about Instacart. I really do use it. It really does save my life. It really does save time, and I don't want to go to the grocery store, and I don't want to go with kids, and having groceries delivered to my house, it really is a good time. It really is amazing. I'm not talking crap about Instacart at all. I don't think it's for my podcast right now. Maybe I'll find something nerd related that I could use as an affiliate thing. I used to get Loot Crate all the time. Maybe there's I don't know. I'll look into it. But yeah, so that's the update on that. And then, okay, so the questions that I was asked that I am not really happy about, my stomach just growled really loud. I don't know if you heard that. I haven't had breakfast yet, and it's 11:36. I haven't eaten, and my stomach just went and I don't know if it was loud enough that you can hear it. I'll listen back to it and find out. But, what was I going to say? Oh, I love to answer your questions. I love to hear your feedback. Some of the things that I try to apply when you tell me about it. And so, one of these things is a couple guys have asked me, like, why don't I have more, like, sexual content on my podcast? And then asked me a few questions, which if you're going to ask me those kind of questions, I will message them and answer you in private. And then I lost this guy as a listener because I will not put up with this stuff, but he went on to call me a prude. I'm this, I'm that, and blah, blah, blah. Listen, it's not that I'm a prude. It's that my family listens to this podcast. I have friends that listen to this podcast. My daughters come in here and get on this podcast. I do not want that kind of stuff on my podcast because that's not what I created it for. I created it to have like a nerdish, not even a nerd. It could be any kind of community, like where people feel comfortable with talking to me about things that, maybe they're too ashamed, because for the longest time I was too ashamed to talk to people about Star Wars. And it wasn't until now that I am 34 years old, going to be 35 in August, that I have found my tribe, that I have found my group of people. I might not know them personally. I might not be able to be like, hey, let's go to the movies because they live in different states. I might only know them on Facebook, but I'm still friends that I still adore them and respect them. And this is a project that I am okay with my daughters getting on here and listening to me talk about my podcast. I can't do that if I'm talking about what some of the questions that this guy asked. Or, like I said with Behind Her Eyes, and when I said it's like sex scenes and 50 Shades of Grey scenes or whatever, like, I don't know. I just don't want to talk about it. Period. I don't even like those kind of movies. I don't like those kind of shows. That doesn't mean I don't like. I don't know. And then they get on here and be like, why don't you talk about your sex life? I don't have a sex life. I am single. I have my girls. And another thing about myself is I have relationship/dating PTSD, okay? I know it doesn't sound real, but it is. And I have it so bad that I posted on Facebook. It was like 7 years ago that I went on a date, and it was actually a really good date. It was a great guy. He was really nice. He was a great guy. He drops me off at home. I go in my kitchen and I am in tears. I just lose it. And I don't know. I have a hard time dating, and finding someone who is okay with that these days is really hard. It is few and far between. And I know if I just meet that person where I go on a date and I just get past that first initial whatever, I would be fine. But getting past it is the hard part, because guys don't want to date anymore. They just want to send you a message and ask what your favorite position is, if you know what I'm talking about. And like I said, I am more than happy to talk to you about that stuff in a private message. I do not want to talk about it on my podcast. And why this guy got so mad that I wouldn't talk about it on my podcast, I have no clue. I have no idea. I am also what I consider a selective feminist. And what I mean by selective is, yeah, I want equal rights. Yeah, I want the same thing that dude got. But when it comes to taking out the trash and shoveling snow, can you do it for me? If I had a boyfriend that lived with me, I would be like, hey, bruh, it's trash day. You're taking out the trash, When it snowed out here, I would have loved to have a man to be like, hey, can you take that pickaxe and break apart that firewood and stick it in a wagon and bring it uphill in the snow? Because I did all that. I did it. You know what I mean? And it sucked because I live on a property. I have 48 acres. There's 3 houses on my property. It's me, my girls, my mom, my 2 cousins who are women, and my cousin's son. And he's 11, just turned 11. And so, we call ourselves the Hot Mess Express. We call ourselves the single woman compound because it's what it is. It is what it is. And another thing is, I don't like to online date. Online dating sucks because it has made it easy for men to just get what they're looking for, and that's not what I'm looking for. If you catch my drift. It's just online dating is hookup culture. That's it. And I know there are some decent guys on there who do want to date and they do want a relationship and they do this, and yes, I am on dating sites. I'm on like Facebook dating and I'm on Tinder. I had a guy stalk me from Tinder. Yeah. Actually, I don't know if I unfriended him on Facebook yet, so I probably shouldn't talk about it yet. I probably should not talk about it because I don't want him to listen to this and be like, is that what she really thinks about me? But I'll find that guy and unfriend him and then tell you the story about it. So if you get unfriended, now you know. Anyways. So yeah, that is my podcast for today. Things have been rough. I've definitely been feeling discouraged about all of this. Like, I'm just now about to reach 100 listeners, and then I did research and they were like, no, we want you to have like 100 listeners a episode. And here I am like 20 something episodes in and just now reaching 100 listeners, which I'm not downplaying it at all. I'm actually excited for reaching 100 downloads. I haven't checked my stats on iHeartRadio or Spotify yet, but I will. But I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep doing my podcast. I'm going to keep streaming, even if nobody's listening, even if nobody's watching, just because it kind of gives me, I don't know, not peace of mind, but this has definitely boosted my confidence. It's boosted a lot of things, and I'm just going to keep doing it, man. Just got to keep on keeping on and see what happens. Some podcasters say, like, pay for advertising, pay for this, pay for that. I don't have the money for that. It's like $500 a week. My Bailey is on a national select softball team, and that gets expensive. And she has to have pitching lessons every week, which is like $40 a week. And I'm not complaining because I love her pitching coach, and it's like therapy for Bailey, and she definitely loves it. And so if it makes her happy, makes her feel better, then yeah, I'll pay that $40 a week. Like I said, I'm a single mom, and when I say a single mom, it's like their father is not in the picture, and I have them 24/7, 365 days a year. There is no like not having them every other weekend. There is no not having them on holidays. I don't get financial support from him either, which I'm actually okay with I'm okay with that. I will fight my way till, I'm getting too into my life right now. I'm getting too into it right now. So I'm going to end it on this. Go to my website. Check out the masks that I make on my Ko-fi page. I also have an Etsy page, but they take so much money out of that, but oh well. Just, yeah. Peace, love, everything nerdy. I'm going to put my glasses on. Sorry if you see a glare on this YouTube live that I'm doing. I just need to, my eyes. I wear glasses to prevent myself from getting migraines and stuff because I actually strain my eyes really bad to see. And so if I don't wear them for a little while, I kind of have to, blink, yeah. And I'm sorry if I, do this. I don't mean to. I'm in Texas. I literally live in a town called Cedar Park. So there is cedar everywhere. And it kills my allergies. Yeah. I can't think of anything else to update you on or talk to you about, and I'm sure I'm going to get some messages about this, like, why would you talk about that on your podcast? But I'll get the repercussions from it. I'm okay with that. I just really want to be open with you guys. I just really want to, like, let it all out there, because I was watching one girl on Twitch, and she does that, and I'm like, dang, I want to be like that. So here I am, letting it all out, letting it all go. And, you know, don't ask me stupid questions and get mad because you don't like the answer. I'm not going to talk about that stuff on my podcast. I'm sorry. I'm not a prude. I do have friends that I talk to we have rated R conversations. If I don't know you on a personal level and it seems kind of awkward, I'm not going to have rated R conversations with you. I just have the really close friends that I have those kind of conversations with. What else? Yeah. I mean, when I say I'm a feminist, it's like, if it's a question, fellas, guys, bring it in close. Come in real close, okay? If men were treated the way women were, men would probably lose their minds, okay? So this is what I'm going to challenge you to do. If you have a question that you want to ask a woman, and I'm not saying this is every man, because I have men that I talk to on the daily who respect me and respect my decision and don't go off on me when I say, like, hey, I'm not going to talk about that on my podcast, but I'm more than willing to talk to you here. If you are not going to ask another man one of those questions, what makes you think it's okay to ask a woman that question? Just think about that for a second. Like, do you have a sister? Do you have a mom? Do you have a stepmom? Do you have a grandma? Do you have a whatever? If you are not okay with the thought of someone, a man, whatever, asking your sister that question, or asking your mother that question, or sending your sister an inappropriate picture, or your mother an inappropriate picture, what makes it okay for you to send another woman that question / inappropriate picture and make it, if it's consensual, if she's like, heck yeah, send it on over, go for it. Go for it. Like, if she wants it, then heck yeah, go for it. Hopefully it works out. You know, like, I get people message me on Tinder, like men who message me on Tinder, and like, it's something sexual. And every time something like that happens, I reply with, does that work? Like, does this actually work? Like, do you actually get women this way? And some of them will be like, actually, no, you're right. And then some of them are like, I don't know, did it work? And that's when I'm like, nope. And then they block me. And then they get mad at me. So, alrighty. Well, this has been my podcast. It went a little bit longer than I hoped, just because I started thinking of things that I wanted to talk about. Thanks for putting up with me on YouTube Live. I've had 0 viewers the whole time. I mean, to be fair, I only have, like, I think 9 subscribers, but someone wanted more video content, so I delivered. Well, I tried to deliver. I didn't have the means to create a video and post it, so I figured going live would be one way to do it. So, I'm going to sign off. Peace, love, everything nerdy. Be nice. Be respectful, guys. And continue to send me messages. Again, I will answer anything inappropriate privately. I will not talk about it on my podcast. So, have a super fantastic day. I love every single one of you. You're amazing. What does Bailey say? You're amazing. You're beautiful. Peace out, Girl Scout. Everybody have a fantastic day. I love you.